Hello, everyone, and welcome to FE6, the Binding Blade. Now, this isn't going to be just any normal run, and I'm sure if you've checked some of the polls, you kind of have an idea of what we're going to be up to. And this is going to be Binding Blade, but every map, someone that was deployed is getting killed off randomly, being chosen from a wheel, and whoever lands on the roulette, getting axed off. But a run like this would be kind of boring if it was just me being upset over my units dying, so I thought it'd be fun to have a little friend join along. So why don't you say hi, Danny?
Please let me down from this wheel. I don't want to die. I'm too young.
She's very happy to be here, as you can hear.
Me out.
Hey, shouldn't you be happy? Now it's your turn to just commentate my bad playing instead of the other way around.
Okay, never mind. I'm fine then. Man and dragon once coexisted in harmony. However, Oh, the real villain was Man. This is just like Bambi.
So true. So, just in case though, just some little added things to the rules. The way it'll go is anyone who I chose to deploy will be potentially axed off, so anyone who new units are safe for their joining map. Just that way I have a map to potentially throw them on the bench to keep them from dying if I want to save them for a later map. And by that I mean I don't want Percival dying in chapter 15.
The funny thing though is that there's a series of maps where you don't actually get the choice to bench people. And there's at least one pretty good unit that is available in those maps. So
Yes,
are we potentially losing a paladin early on?
So we'll see how that goes. Please don't die. That would be really upsetting. But yeah, just as the rules sound, that does mean that no one is dying in chapter 1, but let's just let that be a little taste. And besides, this map is already hard enough as it is. This is one of the weirdest chapter 1s in the series when it comes to difficulty.
Wait, so Marcus is actually on the wheel then? Because I thought there were special rules around him. I was trying to set you up to be like, actually.
Oh, I was just gonna roll with it. Yeah,
I was under the impression you had made special rules for Marcus, but I'm fine with him dying in chapter 2 if you want.
I had, but the more I keep going back and forth, but I think maybe the plan was to give Marcus immunity until chapter 7, because chapter 7 without Marcus sounds hard. And every time I tell myself, nah, I'll be fine, I think about chapter 7 and go, wait, maybe he should be safe. So I think I like the idea of Marcus being safe until chapter 7. Or
like, think about it this way, right? Marcus means that you can get Zealot turn 2, because you'll have Sue available.
Very
as
true.
as the other mounted unit. So like even if Lance and Alan die, right? Guaranteeing Marcus survives, you can do that like turn 2 rescue drop strat. Now, if Roy can survive the turn 2 rescue drop strat is another question, depending on which shitters are alive.
We'll cross that bridge when we reach it. But let's see that I do all my settings. I've already forgotten.
Speaking of crossing bridges, the map actually kind of looks like it's missing a bridge. Like, I only thought this because you mentioned it, or because you said bridges, but like, doesn't it look like there's the village there? It feels like there would naturally be a bridge connecting the path on this side of the lake to that.
I could potentially see that. Or it kind of
like,
looks
obviously
like there's a road that goes down like this.
Yeah.
Almost.
But like, why would the road go around instead of make a bridge? Like, from a gameplay perspective, I absolutely think that it works better without a bridge.
Oh yeah.
But from a world perspective, like if I was the mayor of whatever village just got destroyed, yeah, not like Foray, obviously, because I think obviously Castle Foray is up north, but I mean the village. I would want to fund or at least petition Lord Elliewood to make a bridge.
I could definitely see that being a thing. I mean, they did add the bridge in chapter 4 as opposed to chapter 14 in FE7, so I'll always appreciate them for building that bridge.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because there's only two bridges in
that's
FE7.
That's not so much them adding it as FE7 taking it away. Like, I know FE7 is a prequel, so like in the canon, it got added in between. But like,
yes,
there was no reason for FE7 to take it away, which is just another of FE7's sins to add to the sin tally. It's another reason that like FE7 is just an unfriendly game to its player base.
I do really miss that bridge every time I play it in FE7 and I go, oh, there's only 2 bridges here. My goodness, that's sad.
I'm sure I would miss it too if I ever played FE7. The thing is that, like, I actually think in FE6, not having that bridge might somewhat be beneficial to you. Because you can, like... I usually turn 1 and, like, defending the island, right? I don't know, maybe I'm just a coward, but I usually defend that island on turn 1. Let's go, Alan!
Look at him go. I think if you don't have Halberd Marcus, then that turn 1 can be really scary, because you can't just one-shot the 2, whatever they're called, the 2 Cavaliers that are near the start.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's why you just use Deacon Lot. Or not Deacon Lot, Wade and Lot. Kappa Kappa.
I cannot wait for Lot to die early on and for me to cry.
What if we end up, like... Because, like, so... I'm assuming you've done some amount of math in terms of how many units we'll have for each map, right?
Sure.
You haven't.
Not quite. I know there'll be enough, because there's 30 maps if you count the gaidens, and there's like 54 units in the game.
Okay, so we're not gonna get into a situation where, like, Wade is, like, our all-star or anything, are we?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like, we'll probably have some suboptimal units, right? But we're not going to be like, the squad is Wendy, Wade, and OJ.
Exactly.
Or something.
And if it does come down to that, my goodness, it'll be funny.
Yes. No, it'll be funny for me. Not sure about you. Not sure if I was in the pilot seat, how much I would enjoy,
watching it crash.
Because the thing is, like, so FE6 has a really unbalanced cast, and that is one of the things I love about it. But there's a few units that are, like... There's sort of like a parabola of bad units, right? Where, like, if a unit is bad, they can be peak and fun to use, until they're, like, so bad that it's not fun anymore, right?
Gosh,
like, that's an FE6 moment. That's a fucking Binding Blade moment right there.
My favorite part about this map is that you have to, like, 4-hit KO this archer.
You know what, that makes me think of? Like, for some reason, archers are, like, really tanky in some random Fire Emblem games. Like, FE1,
oh, yeah,
archers
FE1.
are tanky, because they were supposed to be, like, frontline units. But I've been playing a ROM hack called Iron Emblem lately, and, archers are so beefy, you deal like 2 damage to them.
That's so weird.
I don't understand the idea of armor, like bow armors in Fire Emblem 4, sure, but like...
Because I know in FE1, if you read the unit descriptions as they go by on the title screen, it deliberately states that they are armored bowmen, almost like they're bow armors, because I think they have the same move as armors at 5.
I don't remember. That sounds right. I know the lowest move class in the game is Ballista, which is, like, hilarious, because in FE1 Ballistas are locked to 2 range. They don't have, like, 10 range.
I just told a friend about that earlier today for the first time. They were talking about the wooden cavalry, and I mentioned it's really funny in FE1, because they all just have 2 range.
Yeah. I love that. I love unbalanced casts.
Me too.
And unbalanced units and stuff. Like, I think that there's a fine line, right? Like, I don't know. I've heard some people calling for, like, the Wyvern class needs to be nerfed. And I guess with reclassing, that's the case. But, like, in FE6, I don't know, you get 2 of them. Like, it's fine for them to both be good.
I really like it in FE6 because your main antagonist primarily uses wyverns, and it really makes you think, oh shoot, these guys are strong. I gotta be careful around these enemies.
And then when you get your first Wyvern Milady, you're like, oh, holy shit, I get one now?
Oh.
Yeah. I was gonna say, don't trust a 54 in Binding Blade, because, did you know the RNs are bugged in Binding Blade?
Oh my
did
gosh,
you know?
I did not.
Did you know? Also, quick shout out to Roy getting 100% there.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Well, it's not, though. Like, that's Roy's utility, is in the early game, he can actually get 100% pretty reliably with the Rapier.
Thank you
like,
to
against
Rapier having
X-Pros.
95 hit.
Yeah.
Because what's an Iron Sword, 85? Yeah, so just having
This
a 10
is-
extra hit Iron Sword is so nice.
Like, I think Roy is an underrated unit. And not because, like, you use him long-term or whatever, but, like, just the early game utility that he brings is reliability, which is something oh, interesting.
I also kind of... Oh, I didn't even realize he was in range. Teehee, whoops a daisies.
I was just wondering why you're sending the Cavs to go get Boris' village.
Because training units is going to be really awkward because I don't know who's going to be here or not. So I want to try to feed something to Boars, but I think I'm going to have to use 2 vulnerary uses to try that. Oh my gosh.
Well, but, like, you're missing the secret event.
Where Boars gets +3 movement.
No, the secret event where Boris goes to that village, and then his movement gets set to 0 for the rest of the map.
Because you just don't move
That
it.
secret event. That secret event.
Let's try something. I will put you on top.
Like, I love Boris. I do.
This map does not give a very good first impression for him, sadly.
Oh, but neither does next map. Neither does next map.
Very true.
I mean, I guess he's better next map than this map because he can participate in that rescue drop to put Marcus on the fort.
Yes.
And also there's some soldiers and mercs that, like, he can tink by, right?
Or at
I
least
don't know
got
if
very close
tinked.
to.
Tinked is probably wrong, but, like,
Oh my gosh.
well, if any unit's gonna get a good level, it's one that we know is not going on the wheel, or is not getting spun.
Very true.
Whatever. So, like, that's good.
There we go. I fulfilled my quota. Boar's got a kill.
You know what's gonna be tragic?
When
Boars is going to die in Chapter 7, so that you can never triangle attack.
Oh, that would
like,
be so
you're gonna-
sad.
You're gonna train the shit out of him, and then he's gonna die in Chapter 7?
That would be
That
so
would be
tragic.
tragic. Yeah.
Now I'm actually really upset that's going to happen, because I kind of want to do at least one triangle attack with him, because it's so silly.
Well, and like Wendy's dialogue too is gonna be heartbreaking. If Boars is dead, if like you Iron Man and Boars is dead, and Wendy's dialogue of like, I sure hope I can't wait to see my brother, and Bart's like, well, don't get too excited, he might be dead. And then like when he is dead,
Oh, that's so upsetting. I don't think I've ever
Or, like-
gotten anything about... I don't think I've ever seen that, because I never get him killed.
well, no, it's not different. They have that dialogue regardless.
Oh, right.
Where,
But
like,
it'll-
Wendy says like, I'm so excited to see my brother, and Barth is like, oh, don't be
Don't get your hopes up.
don't
He might
get
be
your
dead.
hopes up. Like, they've been fighting some strong foes. You might be dead. And Wendy's like, I know Boris is strong enough. He would never die.
What a
And
level up.
like, yeah, I don't think we're using Molt wrong term. But yeah, I don't. It's in the cutscene when they first spawn. I don't remember the exact thing because like I've played FE6 so many times that I just skip the story at this point.
Same. There's some
Although
bits
there
I like to
is
read every
a-
now and then.
Well, I was gonna say there's merits in like rereading the story. Like I did that with FE4 recently, where I've played FE4 a bunch, and in my most recent FE4 playthrough, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read the story, and it like reminded me of some stuff that I'd forgotten.
I've done that with FE8 a couple times, where I'll play FE8 a whole bunch, and then suddenly I'll go, wait, oh, let's not do that.
Yeah.
That looked like a very
My
bad
brother
move.
Boris would never die. Boris is strong. He will hit that 56.
Is he strong enough, though? Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, you should have, because he would have crit. He would have
That's
gotten his
so
1%
true.
crit. Because as we all know, in Fire Emblem the Binding Blade, crit gets rolled before hit.
Oh my gosh, please don't say that. People will believe you.
I know. Well, here's the fun part. It's your channel. So now, if someone gets mad about the misconceptions being spread by me, it's on your channel. So...
I don't know what's more upsetting, that's been said, or the fact that I have to edit that out now.
Just throw text on the screen. Just throw like big bold text on the screen that says, "This is true, by the way. It's not a lie. It's not a meme. It's true."
With the text on the screen that says, cover your ears for a second.
It's like I said a swear word. Susan! Susan, are you listening? I'm spreading misconceptions about the RNG in FE6.
Okay, I was actually talking to a friend the other day, and I think it would be funny if the attack determined if it was a crit, and it would still miss even if it was a crit, just so you can watch the crit wind up, and then go, please miss, please miss, please miss.
It's like skill procs and fates do
Yes, that's kind of
When
what it
they-
would be like.
They get the critical cut in. Like, if they get an actual crit, that means they hit, but they can get the critical cut in for, like, Soul or Luna or something, and then just, like, straight up
Miss.
fucking miss. Or, like, the extra insult is, like, they Soul proc Astra, or they proc Astra, and then they proc, like, Soul on every hit of Astra, but they also miss every hit of Astra or something.
So beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't put Walt there, he will die.
Yeah.
Oh! I guess here's where I ask, are we grinding supports?
I actually never thought about that. Because supports would be kind of useful, especially early on.
Yeah, and it's not like they're, like, permanent commitments, because there's a very good chance that one half of the support chain just fucking dies.
Very true. I would get to add a lot of supports to my library.
Yeah. Well, so, like, one thing that, Are you sure about this?
He only has the steel axe.
Oh! I thought he had a hand axe, too.
This game's nicer than that.
One thing that, like... So, I actually, in vanilla, usually support Alan and Lance with each other, and then just, like, whoever's getting worse level ups, I kill off in, like, Chapter 8 or whatever.
That's a really funny idea.
Yeah, I think usually Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 8X are, like, maps where... I guess 8X not really, but, like, 8 and 9 are maps where I feel like I usually have a couple more deployment slots than I'm actively using. So I'm like, okay, which one of you is getting the Knight's Crest and which one of you is getting the axe? Quite literally, if it's Chapter 9. Because that's all there is. But, it's also convenient in Chapter 9, because, like, if you have to lure fur, you can do it with a unit who you don't care if she Wu Dao crits them, because you're trying to kill them off anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Like, I think that it's easy enough to recruit Fur without ever putting a unit in her range, similar to
yeah.
Joshua. But just if you end up in a situation where it's like, oh shit, like, because of the way the pirates ended up and some people missed or whatever, I just have to have Fur be allowed to attack someone. Like, having a unit that you're like, oh, well, I'm sacking them anyway, is, not the worst thing in the world. And then for 8, like, he can just be a rescue bot. You know, and then die.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think I will get some support since we're going to be kind of like strapped for units.
I'm assuming Cavs with each other, of Roy with Marcus, okay. Is
Yeah,
anyone else going to support Marcus? Like one of the Cavs with Marcus or one of the Cavs with Roy?
Not sure.
Marcus has ice, right?
Yeah.
So that's defense and might, and then Roy is might, because it's fire, might and hit, I think.
Amazing support.
I'm assuming, I mean, do you want to cut the end turn spam out of the video?
I don't mind. I'll just use like fast forward like this, and it won't take too terribly long. I usually go up
Okie
to
dokie.
like, I'll usually go to I don't know, turn 30 or something, and then I'll stop.
I think you can unlock them in Chapter 1, right?
You can. I actually just
You
I
can
have
get
some
C
right now.
supports.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait, there's a menu you can check them?
Yeah. If you go to the unit menu like this, where you view all these, scroll all the way to the right and click Ally, and it shows who can currently
the
support other units. You can do
What
this in all
the
the GBA games. I've been using this since I was playing Sacred Stones for the first few times. Because I would grind supports in the Tower of Volney.
That should be illegal. That no, the modified ROM,
I will,
cheated.
I will-
Do we want to mention the actual ROM modification? Actually,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know if I mentioned that. Assuming I did it right, all of the gaidens are only going to be looking for turn requirements. They're not going to be looking for unit requirements. That way I can actually field units like Jarrett, Su, Shin, Zisa, Milady without having to worry about losing out on the gaidens. And just in case I did do something wrong and we don't end up getting one of the gaidens, I've set it so only the Binding Blade is required to get the true ending.
And if you want to be really cheeky, we can just skip the Douglas chapter.
Very true. We could just kill Douglas and say he was the one who got spun on the wheel.
Or like if we go Ilya route and you don't want to break walls, like there's also that.
That's also an option. I'm actually very curious which route I'm going to be going to, because for all I know, my pegs get killed off. And
I mean,
have to
so-
use the other two.
But here's the thing, right? As long as, because them getting killed off doesn't actually delete the experience they gained. So like, as long as Shanna isn't killed off like turn fucking 1, you can still get a little bit of experience on her, and then if she gets killed, you can choose to actively not use Su and Shin. Which, like, to be fair, Shin is one of the best units in the game.
Yeah, Shin's
Like,
really
easily top 10. Arguably top 5. But that's a conversation for other times.
It'll be very interesting to see which route I go, because I'm not going to be keeping up with the levels in my head. I'm just going to use them and see what happens, because I think it'll be more fun that way.
I can lie to you if you want.
And I'll never know whether you're lying or not. Oh, but that's the end of Chapter 1. I hope all of you are excited for this new series as I am. I'm sure Danny is as well, because she'll get to watch me cry whenever units I like.
It's kind of cool that you reclassed. It's kind of cool that you reclassed Lelina to a bishop. Can you tell me how you did that?
I wish it was that easy.
Well, Roy said Father Lelina, so she must be a bishop.
I'm so happy you're going to be co-hosting. Oh, I will see all of you next episode. Bye.